Hi there everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is Christy here to do the weekly reading for the sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you don't know your Moon and Rising sign, Scorpio, there's a link in the description box where you can learn your whole birth chart, and that way if you want additional messages for the week, you can always look at your Moon and Rising sign readings on top of your Sun sign reading today. So this is for the week of July 11th to the 18th. And I'll be using the Medicine card tarot for our central spread today. I'll be using 5 cards as promised. I usually do use 3, but I wanted to up the ante and keep it a little bit fresh. So we'll be doing that with this card this week, or this deck this week, sorry. And then drawing additional cards as always from the Wisdom of the Oracle Tarot and then the Healing with the Angels Tarot. So this is a general reading, whatever is most prominent in your life, I'll encourage you to apply these messages to. And I will be asking, what does your sign need to know? So hopefully you'll find it a little bit more helpful as opposed to just some general messages. Asking what you need to know to spirit, for example, might bring about some possibilities or opportunities in terms of options that you have that you weren't aware of before. So that's the goal there. So Scorpio, I wish for you all success, joy, and wellness. I call upon Archangels Michael, Gabriel, Metatron, and Uriel to guide this reading in peace, clarity, protection, and wisdom. And I ask that Gaia please bless this reading for Scorpio. All right, so what does Scorpio need to know this week? What does Scorpio need to know? All right, here's your main card so far in the 5-card spread is Weasel. I actually do have to look him up. I think it's Stealth, but as you know, I have no pride, so if I don't know what something is, I just look it up. What have we got here? Is it Stealth? Yes, it is. Okay. I really do enjoy being right, but I'd rather be right the first time than so I just look it up. So we have some stealth here. What are you trying to get around? What are you trying to avoid, Scorpio? Let's dive into that in detail in just a moment. We'll look at the lizard, which is energy that you're just coming out of this week and into the week, and it is the dreaming card. Perhaps you've been spending a lot of time in dreamland or something that feels like fantasy land for you in one way or another, and you've been creating an environment for yourself where you can avoid the ramifications or repercussions of that. We all know there's a price to everything, whether that's, listen, it doesn't have to be material price, does it, right? It can be the price of sanity, it can be the price of emotional peace, it can be respect, lots of things that we have to pay a price on depending on what we do or what we find ourselves involved in. On the other hand, what's the price to freedom? What's the price to liberation? What's the price to becoming the eagle instead of the scorpion? Because there's a price to that too, and it could be a shaman's death, right? The price to evolution and ascension is the death of the old self. And maybe that's what's going on here. I think you're highly aware of this. You're very perceptive. Water sign Scorpio, you're also ruled by 2 planets, one of 2 signs in the whole zodiac, the planet Mars and the planet of the underworld. And why can't I think of that right now? This is so weird. All I can think about is Uranus, but that's not it. That's Aquarian's planet. Wow, okay, I'm having a little bit of a derp, so forgive me there. You're probably screaming at it at me right now, and if that's the case, I'm really sorry. The god of the underworld, I'll figure it out. I'll spit it out in a second. Okay, so we have stealth, we have dreaming, and then to the other side, which is the probable outcome in terms of what do you need to know, is gathering. And I really feel that this is about gathering resources and strength. Um, Particularly because we have the record keeper at the top, and this is something that you're highly aware of and you're probably already involved in doing. Be careful that the record keeping here doesn't turn into a virtual assault against yourself. I think there is a tendency here, um, wow, when trying new things or when getting out of, let's say, dream world and into the real world where we have to gather things up or gather ourselves or our thoughts or, like I said, our strength or our resolve. I just feel like this is probably feeling like a little bit of a circle, like a hamster wheel that maybe is going over and over and over. And I feel like this is getting old really fast, and you're probably being incredibly hard on yourself about it. I just don't see how doing that is going to assist you, but I do think that wishes can be granted here. Um, if you're not hard on yourself and if you take stock of how far you've come, certainly if you have a vision for yourself, if if the record keeping and the gathering is about, where have I been, where has this gotten me, assessing how it worked for you or how it didn't work for you, and then building upon that as opposed to merely assessing it and say, yeah, I assessed it, and then go and complete this circle again, the stealth, the dreaming, the stealth, the dreaming, and then you're like, but I know better, or I can do better, or I want better for myself. Whatever this better is for you, whatever this goal setting is for yourself, I do think that you need to gather your resolve here. Because there is some circular behavior here. You can even notice here that they're facing each other. So this is going over and over, and the resolve has to, you do need to meet this face on. I'm going to hold these up to the camera one by one in just a second, I promise. So again, in terms of what do you need to know, the main terminology here and from here up is stealth, dreaming, gathering, and record keeper. Now, at the bottom, in terms of what you may not be aware of or could be working against you in terms of what do you need to know, there is a transmutation here that is available to you. The snake's keyword is transmutation. Now, not a bad thing. It's actually beautiful. There's a definitive type of sorcery or magic that can be involved in this as well. However, it can be like all magic, like all art, it can be manipulated negatively. Okay, and because I see it here to both of these sides, I see it influenced. So I'm going to look at it like this, for example. I'm going to look at the transmutation and the dreaming, meaning this is very comfortable for you. This might even bring you to places pleasurable and otherwise that feel impossible to get away from for whatever reason. Scorpio, believe me, I'm not judging. This is about your awareness, okay? I just want you to be aware of this, that this is not something external to you. This is something that you are doing um, consciously. Uh, but as I said, I think you're becoming aware of a price that's being paid, and it's a lot of finagling. It's a lot of getting around stuff. It's a lot of maybe even fooling yourself or someone else. So just just contemplate that, okay? In terms of what are you getting out of it and what's the price, okay? And then I'm going to look at snake, the transmutation next to the gathering. Again, I think there's a great deal of strength and resolve to be taken from this as well. Just be certain here that you're not manipulating yourself into believing that you're doing the right thing by gathering information, gathering resources, gathering resolve. I mean, you have it, right? It's all there for you. You might have even done this before. And then you're going to, fall back into old patterns or, not willing to pay the price to get out of there, but you're willing to pay the price to stay here. These need to be contemplated for you this week. I really truly think that this is something you need to consider. What is being what is the motivation behind the manipulation of yourself? Okay, I find it difficult to believe that many people, anybody, is controlling a Scorpio. Or that you would allow yourself to be um, controlled. Not that we can control other people in the first place, but I just don't think this is going to be in your repertoire, that this is a game for you. However, you could be a master of doing it to yourself. So please just be aware of this and just ask yourself what your motivations are and where you truly want to be, where you want to wind up, because you're taking stock of this. And what are you getting from it? Okay, so I'm going to leave that there, and let's look at other avenues of this through an additional card here. I can't help but look at it this way as well. And I do this anyway. I'll look left or right, and then top to bottom, obviously, and then all around, and I'll, get a general idea how these are acting together. But another cool way to assess this spread as well, Scorpio, is to say record keeper, stealth, transmutation. I do believe that you understand that your ascension, your personal ascension, your liberation, let's say, is around the corner, so to speak, okay? In basic terms. Like I think it's, like a mile away, around the corner, something that's just, you can almost taste it, that type of thing. But there's a trickery here. There's a trickery and there is a manipulation here. What is it? I don't like to think that it's from the outside in, but maybe that is what's going on. Maybe it is outside manipulation. Okay, so as a general reading, I wish I could be more specific right now, but this is when I would love for my Scorpio viewers to chime in and comment and let me know if this makes sense to you or how this works out for you this week, because I'm not a Scorpio, so I can only sort of say in a general sense what this means to me. And I don't even mean that dreaming is a bad thing in and of itself. It really isn't, right? Transmutation in and of itself isn't a bad thing. Nothing on its own is a bad thing. It's the way it's influenced by and played out with other concepts and energies. That's how things actually become manifest. So it could be something as simple as it's time to snap out of it, right? So in conjunction with the spread, we have the peace card. This is beautiful, just as in terms of the question, what do you need to know? I think it's really significant right now, Scorpio, to remind yourself that this is a very real outcome for you. This is ready and waiting for you. This exists, okay? Peace exists. In terms of what do you need to know, I'm going to ask a question to contemplate this week for you, and that is, what do you value most? Okay, and it's, again, this doesn't come with judgment. It's merely a question about what you value the most. Many people don't ask themselves this question, and until about 2 years ago, I didn't either. So, and I was making some pretty hamster wheel decisions, right? I was always winding up in the same spot or predicament or with the same person or with the same problem, etc., until I discovered the question, what do I value most? And at the time, I was like, oh, I value peace and joy and love and liberation. And then I was like, okay, I'll draw that on one side of the page. And on the other side of the page, I was like, but what's actually happening in my life? The opposite. So I had to become clear about what I value. And I truly believe me, this is an ascension position for any Scorpio. Scorpios have the highest capacity out of all the zodiac, if you didn't know, to reach levels of spiritual ascension. So please remember this. This does belong to you. You already have that. You have access to this. You might have even experienced this in a previous life or in a previous manifestation. And it is peace. This belongs to you if you want it, okay? But I think the question here is, what do you want? What are you willing to give up, or what are you willing to pay, so to speak? I just do not mean money. I mean in time, effort, lifestyle, etc. Okay, and then just some major themes here. Of course, we have the egg, this global fertility symbol. Something is growing here. Something could come out that belongs strictly to you and that you created. So remember, you're the creatrix here or creator. And then the peace dove with the olive branch in its mouth. This is another universal symbol for world peace and for being the creatrix or creator of that type of peace. And the egg could also be considered your world as well. And it's right on top of the egg. So I see very clearly here that this is up to you. Just to make mention briefly too that we have the snake card here with all the eggs. Forgive me, Scorpio, I don't recall holding these up to the camera for you. Let's do that and then we'll get your final card here. Like I said, we have the weasel here. They're actually quite beautiful little animals. There's nothing inherently wrong with weasels. And God knows that they've had to perfect their own sense of stealth in order to survive. And this could be very well what's going on in your life. This is a way of life for you, or this has become a habit for you because it's saved your life. If and if that's the case, you can't deny it. Like if this is the way you go along to get along in order to survive or to be safe in the world, then fine, this has served you, but is it still serving you? Because this is where you're just coming out of, which is dreaming. It's dream time. It's the dreamland. It's the fantasy land, right? It's a beautiful place to go from time to time. It's a lovely place to spend time, especially when we have good memories. But how is it impacting your preferred outcome or what you need to know in terms of how to proceed peacefully and lovingly? And is it part and parcel, because these are facing each other, is it part and parcel of feeling like you have to keep doing this to survive? Okay. And then with the gathering, we have the squirrel with the little acorn. She's just beautiful. If you've seen squirrels up close or in person, you see that they're incredibly bright. These are incredibly bright animals. They do not miss a thing, and they're quick. They're also really, really cute. So I think that there's something within you that's really, really special and only you have, and something that's unique to you. With regard to this acorn, for example, there's something inside. It's either food for him or it's a tree in the ground. Something is inside here that you can break open. Once you've gathered it for yourself, you get to practically control its outcome, even if it only has two different outcomes, like right or wrong, or good and bad, or up or down, or whatever. It's going to suit you. Just make sure you use it to your highest advantage here, whatever you're gathering, okay, Scorpio? And with whale being the record keeper, the reason why I keep using terms like wish fulfillment here is because of the single star here. This is related to the star card in the Rider Waite Tarot, which is one of the original decks of the tarot. And wish fulfillment, of course, going deep, going in the ocean, like a very emotional card, very deep, ancient energy here. So a wish can be fulfilled if you go deep here, and you are keeping records, but where are those getting you, and what are you keeping records for? What are they in relation to? And what do you plan on doing with them? And I'm supporting this card here currently with the squirrel. So the record keeping with the gathering, okay? So there's an element of accumulation here, but hopefully it's not of just things or stuff. It's about concepts, even experiences, ideas, and goals. Okay, so let's imagine that the gathering is of all those things, and now your job, for example, is to turn that lead into gold. Okay, you have the power here. This is a transmutation. This is the magician. It's not a small harmless energy here. It can create harmless things, but again, there's a place that you need to go that may feel unfamiliar or even perturbing here, where you don't need to manipulate. Things can turn out by themselves. I want you turn out for the best on their own if you're headed in the right direction for yourself, is all I mean. If you're taking stock and doing yourself right. Everything will fall into place. They don't need to be manipulated. Also, I just wanted to point out, like I did a moment ago, all of the eggs here, and of course the egg and the peace card. I think there are a lot of different outcomes, a lot of different options that you're giving yourself here, okay, regarding this situation. And you might be a little bit too hard on yourself with regard to which direction to take. Um, Perhaps one of the lessons or one of the notes that you need to know is that they could all mean different things for you, but one of those eggs is peace, and it's just asking, what do you like? If that is that what you want? Is that what you say you want? Because I think you're being asked to prove it. That's what I see going on here. I think you're being asked to prove that peace is what you want. If it's not and it's something else, go for gold. Like, go for it anyway. It's your life. It's your thing. Um, but be real and honest about that, okay, Scorpio? And beautiful way to end the reading. Look at this miracles card. She's got a little tiny golden fairy on her fingertip, and she's just it's almost like having an actual squirrel on your hand. I mean, she just looks absolutely, utterly delighted and even kind of surprised. So you could be met with a miracle this week, Scorpio. Don't be surprised if that's the case. It could be in terms of something as simple as an aha moment or a little bit of a revelation. And it could be, and please check for this, especially over the next 7 days, look at any dream time activities. If you wake up with dreams, keep a note paper next to your bed this week in particular, and be aware. Slow yourself down if you can, and be aware to write down as many things from the dream as possible, because I feel like that you could have messages in the dream in terms of miracles and outcomes, or even options that could be available to you in dream time. This also includes naps, and it also includes our fantasies. Watch your fantasies. This is another thing to contemplate this week. Um, I just see a lot of really, really deep magical energy here. I think you have exactly what it takes. I really feel the only thing missing is that you need to decide what you want. Right? And if that's your biggest problem, not a bad week. So, Scorpio, that concludes your reading for the week. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you want to let me know how this plays out for you this week, please let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you. And if you're not already, subscribe to my channel because I upload videos for your sign every single week. So until we meet next time, bye for now.